Okay, so tonight I'm sitting close to the water in my little cottage in Trepelia. I just came rushing back from the dentist. So next week I get a new tooth. Okay, so everything good. Tonight we have a very beautiful text from Ramana Maharshi. Let's begin with our meditation. So I ask you to sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Look inside. And bring your attention to whatever is the strongest.
I cannot find the sound. Yes. No, and I tried to unmute. This was the only microphone I could find. I don't know how to get sound.
As you look inside, there may be thoughts, there may be feelings, there may be a body sensation. It may just be quiet. Okay, so take another look inside. And once again, come to whatever is the strongest and just watch. Okay, so then we have one more time. We look one more time. And this time we give ourselves permission to fall deeper inside. Okay, so let's come back into the screen. So we've lost the whole of the group from Hitov. There must be a power cut, I guess. Too many electric fires. Blows the fuse. Okay, so would anybody like to share what happened during the meditation? Kira, you look like you want to share. Would you like to share?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was, this falling deeper was very, felt very deep, actually. So then nearly all the thoughts disappeared, and there was just a kind of energy, strong energy in the body. And then a bit like coming a bit closer to the surface with some thoughts, and then again back, falling down into the ground of the ocean. And yeah, so also the breathing rhythm changes then. It goes much slower.
Okay. All right, very good. Back to you. She has no earplugs. Rania, can you get her to unplug, unmute? No, doesn't work. Okay, okay, back to you. We can't hear anything, so we'll go to Raj. Raj, would you like to share what's happened to you?
Yeah. Nothing much. It was quiet, and nothing much changed.
Okay, good. Can you accept that?
Yes. Yes.
Good, good. Okay, so Ram, would you like to share? Hitop is coming back. Okay, Ram, would you like to share something?
Not so much also, quiet. And you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah, very good.
And a lot of body sensation.
Okay. What kind of body sensation you have?
Oof.
You're probably tired after a hard day's construction work.
Oof, no. No, not so much.
Okay, good. All right. And who else would? Madhu, you would you like to share?
Очень тихо.
Quiet, very quiet.
Я словила себя на том, что очень большая задержка в дыхании, как зануривание такое вот. И вот.
I also recognize that I keep the breath inside, that I'm not breathing regularly. I'm just like, I keep it for some time.
Okay.
Хорошо.
Very good.
Okay, we'll see you in a couple of days.
Мы с тобой через пару деньков увидимся.
Okay, so let me see, who else do we have? We have some of these Hitop people come back. Maybe they'd like to share.
Люди из Хидорфа вернулись, может быть, кто-то хотел бы поделиться.
Kamala likes sharing. Would you like to share something, Kamala?
Камала.
Well, in the middle of the meditation, the internet stopped, so I was busy with this then.
Okay. So I guess we don't ask you anymore. The people from Hitov, they're all playing with their computers. Okay. So, well, there we have Mahan Dian. He's still calling himself Vishnu. I don't know who that is. Some sort of old guy I remember. Would you like to share?
Well, busy day, so my mind was busy at the beginning, and then the mantra we heard before the satsang started was kicking in, and well, after a while I became quiet and space was there, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a very, very good mantra tonight. Yeah, very good.
I love it.
They can be very good, this band, yeah, this Open Sky band. Okay, so I won't ask, we can ask Radha, she's also there, I see. Would you like to share? Where has she gone? Radha, would you like to share something? Seems she doesn't like to share. Okay, good. Okay, so I think we'll go straight to the text actually, because tonight we have a very amazing text. I'm extremely happy to find this text because somehow we normally associate Ramana Maharshi and his teachings with self-inquiry. And there's something always a little bit cold about self-inquiry. It doesn't touch the heart. And it can easily become a kind of practice. And we don't really know why in the end we're doing this. And tonight we have Ramana Maharshi talking about love in a very powerful way. So I think tonight is rather a particular meeting because certainly for me, this is quite a unique text where in a very simple way, he's saying, use self-inquiry to get rid of the mind. So that part is particularly for Govinda. We're going to homage to Govinda tonight. So for him, particularly self-inquiry is very useful. Maybe this will finally get rid of his mind. And then when you get rid of your mind, you come to your natural state, you come to your essence. And what he's making clear is that your essence is love. And this is, of course, very powerful. So the love is always there waiting until you clear up the stuff that's on top that prevents you coming through to that love. But in the beginning, the other thing that's very nice about this text is that the author of this whole manuscript that I've been working on, his name is Gajapati Iyer. I have more and more respect for this man because he came to Bhagwan in 1936 as a young man, and he was clearly very intelligent and very well educated. And my impression is that he had a very close connection to Bhagwan, actually. And sure enough, in this delightful text, today morning, he's writing a kind of diary about what happened to himself. Today morning when I entered the hall, Sri Bhagwan smiled at me sweetly like a child and handed me a letter saying, "See, you will like this. See, you will like this." And then I unfolded it. It was from I think it's a Danish man, Alfred Sorensen. And Alfred Sorensen became hello? He became a well-known spiritual person. I'm not sure whether he was known as an enlightened person or whether he was known as a teacher. I'm not quite sure about that. But apparently he actually is a well-known person. I personally don't know him, but one of my informants told me that. And this is a letter which he wrote to Bhagwan some months after he'd been to visit him. So this is a kind of love letter. "O master of the formidable mountain." So we're going to spend a month at this formidable mountain. I think you've all heard that we've decided to go. We're busy buying tickets and understanding the regulations, but the regulations don't seem too terrible. So we're off to Arunachala, where apparently it's very quiet and nice. We've contacted some people we know who are living there, and we understand it's very nice there. Okay, so, "O master of the formidable mountain, I was earlier like a filthy pig, consuming with eager relish the turds excreted by the sensory organs." So he's quite tough on himself, you see. "I came with a restless mind to scrutinize your authenticity. But the moment your eyes fell onto me, I became motionless like you. For you graciously annihilated my facilities of assertion, manufacture, which arrogantly declared I, and immersed me in your own intrinsic inner state of absolute being, which in truth is only you." So basically he's saying that he came to maybe a little critically wanting to check out Bhagwan, but within just a few moments of entering the hall, gazing into his eyes, he himself completely melted. And this is actually quite a common phenomenon, I would say. So now he's writing to thank Bhagwan. "I kiss the dust of your sacred feet every day, for by drowning me once and for all in the unfathomable ocean of exaltation, which is truly you, you've devoured my treacherous mind forever. Now I live only as love of you. I've happily lost myself in you. You are love itself. Never ever will the miseries of the world manage to trace me out again. For I see only lovely you in them." So this is the way the true devotee talks about his master. You see, a bit over the top, but it's a reflection of being touched. It's a reflection of being touched. And this man clearly was clearly very touched, and he has no problem to express it. Okay, so so when your eyes bored into mine and said, "There is no anything, there is no anything," my heart tugged from within. and knowing it was you who was calling, I meekly followed. There I was rendered naught, zero, yeah? Zero. I was rendered zero. Now I am not. Now I roam around the universe like an unbridled wild animal, knowing not what I'm doing, nor why. Now all I know is you, in which there is no me. My master has been kind enough to send word through Mr. Hurst that he regards me as a Sahajo Yani, or natural mystic. But my joy is in knowing that this ugly form, which I once considered as one with myself, has found a place in my hallowed master's memory. Although now there is no question of anything remaining apart from my master. My heart aches to set eyes upon his physical frame again. May Sri Bhagwan fulfill my wish. So this is like a thank you love letter. And then the man who has written this manuscript asked Bhagwan, who is this man? And then Bhagwan said he came here earlier this year, perhaps at Mr. Brunton's invitation. And as I mentioned before, Brunton wrote a book, In Search of Secret India, and this brought many, many people to visit Bhagwan in the 30s, in the mid to late 30s, before the war. And then he says, Bhagwan took one look at him and he attained the final state, question mark, exclamation mark. And then Bhagwan twinkling, Bhagwan does not cause anything to happen. Why are you thinking along the lines of, oh, I'm sitting in the hall every day, hearing reports of people obtaining lofty, transformative spiritual experiences from Bhagwan every day, and avidly listening to Bhagwan's teachings every day? When is all this going to bear fruit? And when shall I become a Yani? Is the allure of Yani sorely tempting you? And Bhagwan laughs. So this is a kind of very sweet exchange between them. And it makes me feel that actually there was some very sweet personal connection between these two people. And then the author of this manuscript says, oh no, the moment I came here and Bhagwan looked at me, I forgot all about myself. Now I think only of Bhagwan, who is already a Yani. So for whom am I to ask to be a Yani? And now comes this beautiful talk from Ramana about love. So he says, the secret of Yani, Yani of course means self-realized. You know, this is when the glimpses become your very nature. Self-realization is what we all want, even if you don't know to call it that. Self-realization, which is the name of this manuscript, self-realization. So this is what we all want. And he's saying the secret of Yani is bhakti, unselfish love, motiveless love, incessant, intrinsic love is the key that unlocks the gate of the heart once and for all. Long and yearn for him fervently, not so that he may destroy your ignorance, but merely because such love is possible. One alone who knows so to madly love has fulfilled the purpose of human birth. he need not be born again. The loveless ones repeatedly come back to the fetid ocean of samsara to suffer more and more. So Bhagwan is basically saying that that jnani, self-realization, coming to your essence, brings you to bhakti, brings you to love, devotion. So basically, his suggestion is that we use self-inquiry to rid the mind of its nonsense, to get rid of the thoughts, to clear up the thoughts. And then naturally, you kind of fall into the blue sky because the clouds have parted. And there in the blue sky, you find love because your nature is love. It's actually rather simple. And he's also saying that when you come to this natural state, then you've fulfilled the purpose of your life as a human being on this planet. And when you've done that, there's no reason to be born again. And he's saying that the loveless ones, these are the people who've never come to their natural state, which of course, sadly, is the majority of people, that these people come back to samsara to suffer more and more. They have to come back and they have to go through many lifetimes more until they themselves come to their own essence. And then Bhagwan was asked, to everyone who comes here, Bhagwan recommends self-inquiry, vichara only. And then he says, Bhagwan says, vichara is a means to eliminate ignorance, which obscures love from shining forth. For the nature of the self is love itself. Love cannot be practiced. All that is possible is to surrender to it. There is no such thing as incalculable of love. Love is already there. It alone is. All that is needed on your part is to give up thought. Govinda, give up thought. Wow. Just imagine. No more of those mindy texts. What are you going to do all day? Which makes you imagine yourself to be apart from love. And so merge in love. Then there is only love, which is bliss beyond imagination. To one who has discovered the ecstatic joy of love, spiritual practice is a laughable absurdity. To those who solicit justifications, we may say that such love blossoms only in souls which have perfected their spiritual practice in previous births. So this is very, very beautiful. Yeah, I was personally very touched to read this today because I never really found a text that he'd written, he's spoken, as quite as powerful as this one about love. And although I've been saying this on and on since many, many years, I never really saw any reference from Ramana saying this stuff about love, because he's so well known for self-inquiry. I never heard him particularly talking about love. Maybe I just missed it. And of course, he's making this point that when you come to your natural state, there's no longer any need for spiritual practice. You see? So now we've got Rajan actually putting in a good day's work in our community. Before, he was always sitting around with his eyes rolling round and round. being a spiritual meditator, you see. But when you finally come to your own nature, you don't need spiritual practice anymore. And therefore, it doesn't make sense to do any kind of practice. For example, I'm relatively proud that I've never meditated since 25 years, nearly 30 years now. Actually, now I need a bit of help. I've lost the page. How do I get it back?
In the bottom of your computer where you normally choose other programs,
Yeah.
there on the right side rather is probably a blue button with a white camera.
Wow. No,
Rather on the right
I
side.
don't see that. No. A white with a
Blue button with a white camera.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Yep.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Okay. So this is actually quite an important thing that we came to, which is that when you come to really be solid, really grounded in your true nature, in your essence, that you don't need to really do spiritual practice anymore. I mean, I personally never said to myself, oh, I'm not going to meditate anymore. I never said that. And of course, I still meditate. But it's like the meditation is completely different. Now it's more like I would meditate just to have this very enjoyable feeling of being completely empty and very calm, very peaceful. So I might do that, but mostly I'm only doing it to sit with other people doing it. And in my normal day, I'm incredibly busy. I go from one thing to the other thing to the other thing. And I feel myself almost constantly present in whatever I'm doing. I'm very present. So there's not a question of, oh, I need to meditate in order to be present. I'm just present. And I think this is something I can talk to Rajen about in a minute, because some of you know that I suggested last September he doesn't need to meditate anymore. And this was quite a big shock for him, because he had developed meditation and got lots of benefit from meditation. But I had felt that now he was starting to kind of indulge in a certain space when he could have been simply living his life, would simply be living his life from moment to moment. I think he's only the second person I had the guts to tell them to stop meditating. I remember once I was in Copenhagen, quite a few years ago now, and there was a guy who I could see was spiritually, he was he was a very lovely man and a very good, quiet guy. And he was telling us how he came to work in a garden in the center of Copenhagen. And on the train every morning, he would kind of blot out everybody by sitting with his eyes closed on the train and meditating. And then I dared to tell him that I felt now would be the time to stop meditation. And of course, after that exchange we had, kind of rather strong exchange, I never saw him again. But it's a bit different with Rajen, because now, whenever there's a sticky bit of work to do or a bit of extra work to do, now we can just call Rajen and he just eats it up like it's nothing. Is that right, Rajen?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's exactly right, but of course I feel more just energy and inspiration to work than I used to. And yeah, I mean, it's what you say. For me, it took a lot of trust in you to give up this space of meditation. Yeah, so it took really some time to digest the advice and to be able to trust it.
Right, right.
And of course, I
So-
see the benefit, and yeah. So
Yeah. And it's not that you're not meditative, because when I bumped into you here or there around the community, you feel as if you're very calm, you know, you're very much in peace, you could say. And so it's like everything you do in your day becomes a meditation then.
yeah, and I mean, I still go to the meditations often, but it's more without any effort or any goal. It's just a part of life unfolding.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like yeah, this quietness, it just seeps into other aspects of life. So it's not this separation between being quiet and active. It just comes together.
Yeah. And I think you're going to find that, you know, that whole space is going to open more and more for you, that it's like you can just consume more and more things, you know. People ask you, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you help here? Can you help there? And all you have to do is say yes. And it seems on the outside that this poor guy is working so much. But actually, in my case, for example, I'm, you know, many days I can't even get out of bed because there are so many texts and so many emails and so many phone calls to do that I find myself still there after lunch. I've had hours, I've been working for hours nonstop, you know. But actually, it's fun, you know. It's kind of fun because, of course, each of these interactions is usually leading to some sort of, how can I say, some sort of situation, some kind of like today, for example, we were having a busy day in the honey studio because there were 2 orders to get ready. And there was the rest of the envelopes. We're sending out sort of happy Christmas greetings to shops. And yeah, so there was actually quite a lot of things going on. And it's fun. It's fun to be that busy if you can be present. And of course, you can't necessarily be present, but that's the goal of our community, that you can be present in every moment, whatever you're doing, whether you're filling pots of honey, whether you're taking a guest booking for the guest house, whether you're doing a massage. It doesn't matter what the external bodily movement is. It's what's happening inside. And if you move through your day from this place of your essence, there is nothing like work anymore. Work just disappears.
Yeah, and it's really about letting it come from an inner stillness, and then it's actually, it just has to be a lot of activity. It seems it's like a lot of energy just coming out because it comes from a space of stillness, and yeah, then somehow this energy just has to manifest in some way in the work or activities you do throughout the day.
Right. Because when you're not constantly thinking, you're not constantly having a busy mind, the energy that goes through your system is much more intensive. Everybody who knows Rajen has known him already for some years as having a lot of energy. You know, he's a big man physically, and he's full of energy. There's a lot of energy there. So what are you going to do with all this energy? You're going to sit down and roll your eyes round and round, or you're going to run around, you know, bringing the guests to their rooms, carrying their luggage, and jumping into every situation, you see. And recently I was putting out in the community that I needed help with this Brahmana project. I didn't particularly ask anybody. I sent in the early days my first edits to a few people. And who responded? Rajen responded. So now he's completely involved, being the assistant on that project. because he jumped in and put his energy into it. And he did much the same with the puppetry project. So he's chosen to assist me with 2 wonderful book projects, which keep me very happy every day. And this was his choice, you know, and he's really doing a lot of efforts to support these projects. And there are other people in the community who could have offered themselves, but nobody did. Because of whatever reason, you know, you know your own reasons. Okay, so perhaps somebody else would like to share from this text. I think we better invite Leela because she's a rare guest tonight, because she's spending the few days in the Open Sky house. So somebody has put her in front of a Zoom screen. Would you like to share something, Leela?
Not really. Yeah, I was also translating the Ramana project
Right,
from the blog,
right.
and that's how I'm spending the time here.
Okay. Have you translated this particular one about love is?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Good, good. So when you were translating it, what was your impression of this chapter, of this paragraph where he's really talking about love? Yeah, love is. Love is already there. It alone is. So it's completely clear for him that this inner space, our essence, our natural state, that this is love, which is what he calls love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that touch you?
Well, I never read anything about Ramana and love. As you said before, it also surprised me a bit.
Right. Perhaps somebody else has written this, you think?
No, maybe no. I think it sounds quite like Ramana, most of the blogs.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a way it comes a little bit out of the fact that he had a nice connection with this young man, you know? He was in his 50s, he was a virile guy, and this young man came to the ashram with the plan to stay a few months. And it seems like from the first moment that Ramana and he had eye contact, Ramana must have noticed that something happened for this guy. And that would be the reason for Ramana to have more connection with him, because of course, that's his joy, you can say, as a master, when somebody comes and sits and the clouds part, you know, that's his whole effort, you can say. His whole joy is just sitting and allowing people to have eye contact with him, and then for something to happen. And if you remember, in the beginning, he gave this letter to the author of the manuscript saying, "See, you will like this," in a kind of playful way. I mean, I also like this particular text because it suggests that Ramana was much more sort of connected to the disciples, much more like a friend, you could say. I mean, the image I'd been given of Ramana before was he was rather kind of austere, you might say, a bit austere, not so approachable. People could be afraid to approach him. But in the connection with this particular young man, somehow it feels as if Ramana is making himself like a friend in a way. Oh, you read this, you'll like it.
Yeah.
I remember the stories about Major Chadwick. Major Chadwick doesn't appear in this particular text, but he appears in quite a few others because he was living in the ashram in the 1930s. And there's a story where after he arrived, Bhagwan would go and visit his room. He would go and visit his room and sit with him. And I think he gave him a lot of teachings, which Major Chadwick wrote in a notebook. And this man who's got the manuscript together often borrowed those notebooks. And a lot of the things in the manuscript came from Bhagwan to Major Chadwick, and then Major Chadwick to the author of this manuscript. And one of the reasons that Bhagwan came to his room was that he had all kinds of modern technology, if you like. You know, he had it like a radio, for example. You know, he'd just come from England, and you know, he had things which probably Bhagwan has never seen because he lived so simply. And so it seems after every lunch, Bhagwan would come and visit him for a short time. And then apparently one day, Major Chadwick put a special chair in the room so that Bhagwan could sit on it. And as soon as he did this kind of special thing, Bhagwan stopped coming. And that also suggests that Bhagwan didn't like to be treated as a kind of special person. He actually enjoyed to be kind of like one of the boys, you know, one of the people living together in this ashram. He didn't see himself as kind of separately, you know, he didn't see him like that because for him, everything was one. So, would anybody else like to pick up on this script? Govinda, what do you say about it?
Huh. Yeah, I mean, what you say, like how he talks about him with this kind of how he exaggerates how special or something he is because he likes him so much, like this way of talking of the great, yeah, like that he's, this is like
Sorry, who you're talking about? Who? I don't understand really. You're talking about
I think it was pretty much in the beginning touched me that how he showed what you said, that he with his strong language or strong idealization showed how much he would love him. This was.
Yeah, this wasn't from the author of the manuscript. This was from this Danish visitor, yeah, Sorensen, who, when he'd gone back to Europe, he must then have written this to Bhagwan, saying thank you.
Yeah.
But actually, Govinda, I would like you to tell me something else. What do you think I would like you to tell me?
I don't know. I feel a bit exhausted today, so I'm not in the.
Well, I mean, what this text makes very clear, Govinda, is you've got to give up your thoughts. You've got to, I mean, all that stuff you were writing to me today, it's all got to go. You've got to let it go. You know, you send out these kind of things as if you really believe you're somebody. There isn't anybody. There isn't anybody.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is.
Well, you say of course, but you act constantly every day. Given half a chance, I'll get 10 texts from you trying to argue your point, you know?
No,
this is all
like
bullshit.
when do we talk at all? Most of the time we don't talk at all. And it's
No,
nice. I just print printer
Of course
sheets
we
and so
don't
better.
talk, because every time we do talk, you know, if we really be talking and not texting, then I'd get a headache. You don't seem to understand your situation. Your situation is that you're completely up the creek or in the bullshit, whatever you want to say. And you go on and on, you know, ruthlessly on and on with this thing that somehow it's very important that everybody should know what you're thinking. Nobody's interested in what you're thinking. And even you shouldn't be interested in what you're thinking. And somehow you haven't got this. You've been in the community 5 years or something, and you still haven't got it. And you don't want to hear it even. I mean, now you're telling me, oh, I'm a bit tired tonight. So what is that? I'm trying to talk to you, and then you say I'm tired. And you're what, 30? How old are you, 30?
31.
31, and I'm 77. I've got that 10 times more energy than you have.
Yeah. That's yeah.
What are you suggesting? So why do you have so little energy? It's because your head is full of thoughts. And no energy can get through, you know, you're so dense. You were telling me about your father today, that he's like a stone. And what about his son? You think you're different?
What to say, yeah?
Well, you don't need to say anything, but it's time for you to understand what our community is all about and what I'm teaching about. It's like you just don't want to hear it. You've been hearing it for 5 years, and you absolutely still go on as if you're somebody called Govinda. Try to read this text a few times, you know? It's a beautiful text.
Yeah, I have text evening.
Huh?
Yeah, I have my text evening.
Okay, so read it on your text evening. Yeah, very important. Have a text evening.
Yeah.
He doesn't see. What can I do with this guy? He doesn't see. Even to say you have a special text evening is part of the bullshit, darling. You think anybody else on this meeting tonight is going to tell me they have a text evening?
No,
Nobody's going to tell me that. Huh?
No, but that's no, everyone is different. Some people make text evenings, some don't. Some create structures, some don't create structures.
Okay.
What to say?
Good. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Okay, somebody else? Is Lara still there? I think has she gone maybe? Oh, there she is. Okay. Okay, Lara. So how about your turn? As you're now part of the community. So Lara is our latest resident. Does it feel different now you're a resident?
Actually, not really. Or a bit more, I don't know, after the meeting we had, was it yesterday or? Yeah, I think so.
Day before, yeah.
Yeah, I felt very happy and was like, I don't know, it felt good to make a decision, and that it gave me some clarity about my situation, and I feel like I'm, more into it because, I had a decision now, because before I was like, should I do? No, and I was like this floating around, and it made me kind of weird in my head. But now that the decision is there, I feel more at the place, and
Okay. And maybe maybe it could help you in the beginning now as you get used to the community, that when you have spare time, just go to the honey studio and help there.
I did today.
Because it's kind of easy work, and
Yeah.
it's kind of sort of meditative. So that would be a kind of place you can hang out.
Mhm.
Yeah. Good, good. Okay, so somebody else like to share? Is Shakti still there, or did she disappear? Can't see her. She's sitting in the shadow. Are you there, Shakti? I think she's disappeared somehow. So Kashi, would you like to say something about this text?
I must say that the last days, tomorrow I get my second jab, and I felt very much resistance about it, and my mind was very busy, and there was a lot of anger. And now tonight, when I'm sitting here and I just sit here and look at you, then I feel become quiet. Then I think, okay, there is that love. There is, I know, and it becomes quiet, and there is love, and the knowing that we are connected in the love. And so
Right.
I'm very happy that you gave me this text tonight, because
It's a great text, yeah.
yes, now I feel tears. That it becomes, yeah,
Right.
I'm not so, yeah, that it becomes more quiet.
Yeah.
And that and the knowing, it is also, I cannot always feel that love, even if it is silent, then I'm not always that I think it is really love. Is my heart now really open? But it is also kind of knowing. What's very, not a knowing here, but a knowing.
Okay. I mean, I pass by you sometimes in the house, very kind of passionately and intensely busy with the guest house cleaning. It's always quite touching how you're so involved in it.
No, yeah, I feel in a way dedicated to do it good, and that I find it important. But I can also see in me, especially when I'm so angry, that it is a kind of motor to go on and on and on and on. Also, then I use it as a motor to do it. But I'm not sure if that's always so good. But yeah, because I'm not always know how to deal with this. Then I feel such an anger, but I can also see that it is something in my mind what is going on. It is still a kind of self-destruction.
Yeah. I think,
the anger goes against myself also.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to be careful of that, and you have to be also careful that when you get too busy, you have to ask for help. You know, there's too much to do, and you're getting really tired. Then, yeah, you have to ask for support.
Yes, but I think when I'm such a time when my mind is busy, then and there are emotions, that makes me most tired.
Right.
So. But okay, this subject was also a good subject we should not discuss too much, so it's something also what I also keep inside.
Okay. Good. Anybody else want to volunteer? I have to volunteer, everybody. I can't get you talking by yourself. So that must be somebody who's got something to say. Okay, Kamala wants to say something. She had a tough day today.
Yeah.
And well, I helped her have a tough day, so I know she had a tough day. Hello?
Yeah, just I never heard Ramana talk about love like this, and somehow this is most of the times the word that I use, or that is most clear for me. Yeah, this is what I want. This love, and
Well, we know you have a
yeah.
different idea about love. You know? That's falling in love, you know, falling in love, boy, falling again in love, boy. I mean, we should actually keep a kind of track of Kamala's conquest, you know. We should have the book of Kamala where we give everybody a chapter to express their undying love for their time when they're together with you. Something like that. Oh, I start being a bit tired. I'm gonna call it a day soon. You might like to know that I was sitting in a car for 3 hours before this meeting, and in between I got my teeth done. You know, so it was pretty intense for me the last 4 hours. The traffic, you won't believe the traffic in Kiev. You know, you think of Ukraine as a kind of poor country, and then they've got roads, you know, four-lane roads completely full of cars and trucks. And when you look at the cars, you occasionally see some very old kind of Russian car, but most of the cars are absolutely sparkling new. And it's clearly, it must be in Kiev a big status thing about your car, you know, the quality of your car. So any last thoughts on this paragraph about love? Maybe I have to start the book with this chapter, with this paragraph, yeah? He explains about self-inquiry, and then he goes on to talk about love. I mean, it's rather nice. Make a good quotation, I think. Love is already there. It alone is. All that is needed on your part is to give up thought, which makes you imagine yourself to be apart from love, and so merge in love. Then there is only love, which is bliss beyond imagination. To one who's discovered the ecstatic joy of love, spiritual practice, a laughable absurdity, a laughable absurdity. But of course, you know, when you're beginning, like we've got now Lara and Tobias in the house, then for them, meditation is very, very important. So it's a matter of where you are on the path, so to speak. So when you're very much starting and you want to understand something, meditation is a great possibility, because with meditation you can become a glimpse. You can get a glimpse of your true nature. When the thoughts really stop, there's very likely to be an opening, and you have a glimpse directly into yourself, into your true nature. Okay, before I fall asleep in front of the Zoom mic, I think I'm going to stop now. Good. Okay. We're going to have a nice weekend in Trapelia. I was threatening them that I was going to quit. I wouldn't come anymore. So tomorrow we're having, this weekend we're having the last Satsang weekend. But maybe that's not true really. But anyway, I got nearly all of the guys from the Cologne to come to the weekend now. So I just have to quit every 3 months and then they'll come. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Love is.